What about the remaster? I think it was. I don't know if I played the remaster or not. A few days had passed since the incident. During that time, not either Mion was busy or Rika-chan had to help with the festival preparations, so we couldn't get everybody together for club activities. Even though I thought I would never want to participate in it after the years it shaved off my life each time, not having it only made my heart grow fonder. I really am not honest with myself. Today we finally had our club activities again. These weren't the same old club activities. It was called the Cotton Drifting 5 Demon Firefight, and it was one of the biggest events in the club.
Keiichi, この浴衣まだ着れるかしら。ちょっと袖を通してみてくれる？
Mom pulled out on old dusty yukata.
いいよ浴衣なんて。恥ずかしいから普段着で行くよ。
でもお祭りなんだから着て行きなさいな。
レナとかは普段着でいいって言ってたぜ。
Oh shit, we going right into the festival, boys?
浴衣なんか着てったらかえって恥さらしだよ。
I put on the same old vest as usual. I wear a fucking vest?
俺のことは放っておいて大丈夫。
そう？じゃあ母さんは父さんが起きたら2人で行くわね。
Dad let out a loud snore from the
あの調子
sofa.
じゃ夕べも徹夜かな。
急ぎの原稿をようやく発送したとこなの。ひょっとすると起きないかもね。
It seems my dad writes for art magazines sometimes too. I've never read it though. I wonder if my dad is a really famous artist. As a son, it's a bit strange for me to say, but I can't imagine he's selling all that well. But he's able to feed a family of 3, and my life isn't exactly full of hardships. Maybe he's actually a master painter, and I just never knew it. Oh my god, that fucking crazy bitch is here again. Uh-oh, it's already time. I didn't want them coming here, so I was planning on leaving early and waiting outside.
あらあらレナちゃん。いつもうちのケイイチがお世話になってまして。
I think Keiichi should just rip off the bandage and just call her Reina and see what happens. He doesn't just like fucking trigger something.
おばさま、こちらこそお世話になって。
Why are you blushing just from meeting my
そ
mom?
こで真っ赤になるな。実に気まずい。行くぞレナ。
Since Rena would continue to space out if I left her here, I grabbed her hand and dragged her out. I hope she dies. What the fuck?
ケイイチをよろしくね。
はいおばさま。ケイイチくんはレナが命に変えましても。
What the fuck? Bro, these motherfuckers always talk about death and sacrifice and dying and dismemberment. Then why don't you do it right now? She waved back even as I was dragging her away.
はいケイちゃん、今日はお腹すかしてる？露店で済ますんだからね。
部活が露天勝負と分かってて腹を無駄に膨らますと思ったかよ。
そうでなくっちゃ。
さとことリカちゃんはもう神社に行ってるのか？
リカちゃんはお祭りの実行委員さんだもん。さとこちゃんもきっと一緒だよ。
Bro, I just want to hear like how the music switches up. Because we've heard only like happy music in this game. Or silence.
そっか。よっしゃ。今日はめ
I want to hear the fucking
ぞ。
death music. Oh, that's the first. We were already in high spirits with just the 3 of us there. It was way more lively at the Furude Shrine than the last time I came, far exceeding my expectations. Throngs of people were crammed between rows of market stalls lined with colorful paper lanterns. Despite that, it was actually quite enjoyable.
すげえ人だな。ひなみ沢ってこんなに人がいたんだ。
Is that a Gundam?
綿流しのお祭りはみんな来るよ。多分ひなみ沢の人の半分くらいは来てるんじゃないかな。
それだけじゃないよ。近隣の町の町会や子供会も招待してる。
そうだよな。俺たちの学校あれしか生徒いないのに、今日は子供の姿がやたらたくさんある。
お祭りの賑やかさはやっぱり子供の賑やかさだからね。
That's true, I agree.
どうもこんばんは。
These two knew everybody we came across. Of course, I greeted them as well, but I still wasn't familiar with everybody yet.
あら、レナちゃん。この間はお惣菜をありがとうね。うちの子も美味しいって喜んでたわ。
The hell, Rena? You're feeding other guys? Huh?
いえいえ、気に入ってもらえて嬉しいです。和正くんにもよろしくお伝えくださいね。
Kazumasa.
よー、園崎のお嬢ちゃんじゃねえの。今年も屋台担いで来てやったぜ。
おっちゃん太った？
What?
今からそんなお腹じゃ果ては心筋梗塞だね。
Okay.
お、この兄ちゃんは新顔だな。嬢ちゃんの後輩かい？
うちの部員だよ。期待のニューフェイス。侮ると一晩で屋台潰されるよ。
嬢ちゃんのお墨付きかい。そりゃお手柔らかに頼むぜ。
As you could imagine, Mion was chatting away with the old guys running the stalls.
みーちゃんは元気いいからね。おじさんたちにすごく人気あるの。
What?
レナも人気あると思うけどな。可愛いし。
That was, of course, so long as her little condition didn't flare up. But as long as she's blushing quietly, she's pretty cute.
あ、レナが？誰に人気あるのかな？あるのかな？
誰かにだよ。
I evaded giving her a straight answer by roughly tousling her hair.
露天商は町からわざわざ来てくれるんだよ。やっぱりこういうのがないとお祭りは盛り上がらないよね。
で、それを俺たちは荒らして回るわけか。どんな勝負にせよ、俺は負けないぜ。
そうだね。頑張ろう。ああ、遅いですわ皆様。ふむ。レディを待たせるとはケイイチさんもなってない
What the hell?
で
This
ご
is
ざ
a
い
new
ますわ。
Satoko pose. Ew.
おお、そりゃすまんな。で、その待たせたレディってのはどこにいるんだ？
This looks like a wholesome visual novel. I hope nothing happens later on. Listen, I've been waiting 5 chapters for something to happen. Alright, Satoko was in top form as well. Seemed she was all excited about being able to get everybody in the club together for the first time in a while.
わあ、リカちゃん、かわいい。
Rena let out an elated sigh. It seemed that the real lady had made her appearance.
こんばんはですよ、みんな。
Okay,
ケ
okay.
イイチもこんばんはです。
Desu.
いいねいいね。今年も決まってるじ
かわいい。お持ち帰り。
Rika-chan was wearing a shrine maiden outfit. Yup. Rena's little outburst was completely
リ
understandable.
カちゃんの服装は本格派だな。これって本物の巫女さんの服か？
ゃん。うちのバッチャのお手製。結構本格派でしょ。
Oh.
リカちゃんはお祭りの最後に大切なお仕事があるからその衣装なの。
Important role? I see. Rika-chan was on the executive committee because she had performed all the shrine maiden rituals for the festival.
お仕事はお祭りの最後のところだけなのです。まだまだゆっくり遊べますですよ。ってことはここで時間を無駄にできないということですわ。参りましょう。
おっしゃー。
It felt good to wander around the festival with just the 5 of us. Mion called everyone over to a stand that caught her attention and proposed a rather odd competition.
たこ焼き早食い勝負。各自購入の上。よーいドン。
A standard in vendor stalls, the takoyaki stand. What was especially standard for these kind of events was the fact that they were simply balls of dough, takoyaki in name only.
ケイチ君大丈夫？お水お水。ああ、そんな熱々たこ焼き丸飲みなんて自殺行為でございますわ。
作り置きの冷めたやつを購入するのがコツかな。
実に美味しくないですよ。
The stall next to it was a shaved ice stand. Ooh, sounds good. Still a bit too early in the season for that, but right then it didn't
今度は
matter.
かき氷にしようぜ。完食早食い勝負だ。レディーゴ
Oh
ー
God, bro's gonna get brain freeze.
かき氷の早食いなんて無理。体温で少しでも溶かせば。冷たいですの。
甘いね。おじさんはシロップ大盛りで頼んだのさ。混ぜればすぐに溶ける。
Five head. Those stooges were too late. The moment they chose to tackle it head on was their downfall.
完食だ。
ケイちゃんが？早すぎる。
まさかケイチ君、後ろの金魚すくい
Ew,
のお水を
what the
入
fuck?
れたんじゃ。実に美味しくないですよ。
Desio. Next to that was another old favorite, cotton candy stand.
次はこちらにしませんこと？もちろん早食いですわ。ねえねえ、わたあめの早食いなんてどう
You
やるんだろう？
squish it up and then fucking shove it in your mouth.
どうやるんだろう？
On Satoko's mark, Mio, Satoko, and I all compressed the cotton candy with our bare hands. The time it took to stick the whole thing in our mouth, 3 seconds.
さとこはともかく、ケイちゃんも気づいてたとはね。
俺をいつまでも新入部員扱いしないことだぜ。
実に美味しくないですよ。
Rika-chan had also crushed it between her hands and stuck it into her mouth. Wait, see, they're doing it exactly the way I said. Oh, whoop.
こんなわたあめの食べ方、きっと日本中でもここだけだよ。
I think only Rena's cotton candy was happy with how it was eaten. But it felt like we'd end up doing stuff like eat noodles through the nose contest or human water pump at the goldfish scoop. What? At the rate things were going.
それでもおじさんは勝つけどね。
悪時期勝負ではミオンさんにはかないませんわね。
ああ、まったく。
何あんたたち、次は焼きそばにブルーハワイかけて食べる勝負にしたいわけ？
What the fuck? Blue Hawaii. Shake, shake. Both Satoko and I shook our heads in unison.
あのさ、今度はちょっと食べ物から離れたゲームにしないかな。しないかな。
Rena's proposal was a godsend. It was about time we played a different kind of game. It also seemed like neither Rena nor Rika-chan were any good at speed eating or gorging themselves.
じゃあレナ、次のゲームをあんたに任せるよ。何でもいい。
じゃあねじゃあね。レナは審判だよ。このお祭り会場でかいいものを探してくるの。制限時間は1分。上等ですわ。レナの好みは分かってますもの。
よし、多分あれなら勝てる。
よーいダン。あれ、ケイチ君とリカちゃんはなんでスタートしないんだろう。しないんだろう。
Mion and Satoko dashed off madly, but Rika-chan and I calmly stayed right where we were.
ひょっとしてもう見つけてあるの？かわいいの。
Oh my god, he's gonna say, it's you.
もう見つけてありますです。ケイチもですね。
Riz level 900.
あ、
9,000.
なんだろうなんだろう。楽しみ。
Well, Rika-chan and I stood motionless for those few moments before Mion and Satoko returned.
こういう形で直接対決するのは初めてだな。
初めてしますです。
リカちゃん、あれで勝つつもりか？
僕も部員です。勝つためなら快速第3条ですよ。
Hey fob, your wig's on backwards fobbed.
No, it's not. What's up, these whole thing over the 41 months? Rika-chan sneered to the best of her ability. You're on. Both Mio and Satsuko came back, each with their own plan of attack stuffed in their arms.
じゃあ順番にね。1番は部長さんのみーちゃんから。
悪いけどいきなり決めさせてもらうよ。さんはこれだ。
Where did she get those? They were old diamond-shaped tin signs.
華麗に蚊取り線香、昔懐かしのブリキ看板だ。ドン。
That's very understated. A little too understated, Mion. I used to see those stuck up on barbed wire fences. They were more nostalgic than cute. Can you explain what part of that is cute? But there were puffs of smoke noisily shooting out of Rena's ears and nose, almost like a steam train. I didn't get it. I think she just nostalgia baited.
次は私が行くでございますわよ。これでございます。
It was a hand-drawn poster from the Lady Society roasted corn stall. It was a really bad sketch done by a housewife. An anthropomorphic roasted corn drawn without any sort of real plan. Its very existence invited a sense of sorrow to the viewer. Wait! That was the sound of blood jetting out of Rena's nose. It seemed to have been rated higher than Mion's. I really didn't get it. Feels like your artistic sense is a little avant-garde by about 5 eons.
所詮は量産看板。手書きには勝てませんわ。
I couldn't even begin to follow the way those guys were thinking.
では次は僕が行きますですよ。
次はリカちゃんか。小道具もなしにどんな手を使うやら。
She's gonna act cute. Did you and Satoko both forget? If Rika-chan felt like it, she could simply... After moving back about 10 yards, she began waddling up to Rena. Seeing that, both Mion and Satoko gasped.
しまった
Too late. Rika-chan tripped over nothing and lay motionless after falling down. Rena hurried over to her.
リカちゃん大丈夫かな。大丈夫かな。
Rika-chan had a lump on her forehead and tears welled up in her eyes. Only her fingers peeked out from her sleeves. This was the vital part. The palms of her hands were covered by her sleeves. She made just a single sound.
みお持ち帰り。忘れてましたですの。一番身近な手を忘れてましたわ。
Rena's face went completely red, her head bobbing back and forth with excitement. She embraced Rika-chan and began rubbing her cheeks against her.
さすがだぜ。
So what the fuck is Keiichi gonna do?
どこまで取っても一部の隙もない。ちびっこ、ミコ、ハンナミだ。ミー、完璧だ。ただの苔を萌えにまで昇華した。これぞまさに芸術と呼ぶにふさわしい。
ケイちゃんの方がわかんねえセンスしてるよ。
I'll just pretend the sharp sting of those words cutting through me like a razor was a figment of my imagination. Rika-chan turned her gaze to me with a daunting smile as she was caressed by Rena, who was in full cute mode.
さ
Can
あ
you show the art
ケイイ
styles for the game
チ
again?
僕に勝てますですか。
Sure. Here you go. This is the remake. And then this is the classical, you know? This is the Renaissance. Original. That cold smile is frightening, Rika-chan. It must be my imagination, but I see a demon inside her sometimes.
ケイちゃんにも何か秘策があってのことだろうけど、何を見せてくれるのかな。
私としましてもケイイチさんのお手並み拝見でございますわ。ひょっとしてケイイチも芸をしますですね。
I basked in their pointed stares. I pulled Rena, who gave no sign of canceling out cute mode, away from Rika-chan.
はうかいいのかいいのケイイチくん離して
今から俺がもっとかわいいのを見せてやるから少し
Oh
我慢しろ。
shit.
もっとかいいの
だがここはちょっとギャラリーが多い。あっちの影へ行こう。
Uh-oh. Rena looked very surprised as I pulled her behind the shrine.
ケイイチさんの企みが見えないでございますわ。
ケイちゃんに限って、いやまさか。
ファイト王です。
After a bit, I returned. And a bit after that, so did Rena, dragging her feet.
まさかケイちゃんのやつ、ねんねのレナに変なことしたんじゃ。
He's pulling his cock out. Mion and Satoko passed by me, heading straight to Rena.
変なことって一体何でございますの？
For a moment, Rena was too dazed to realize someone was talking to her.
なんだみーちゃんか。
大丈夫？ケイちゃんに変なことされなかった？
レナ、変なことはされなかったよ。かなりの重傷ですわ。ケイイチさんは一体何を見せましたの？とっても可愛かったよ。
かわいい？レナ、あんた何を見せられたの？
Damn. Keiichi got one of those tiny peckers, huh? It was so cute. Rena let out a really long howl. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke.
可愛かったよ。ケイイチくんのオットセイ。
What? Furry little seal? Huh? In a blink of an eye, Mion and Satoko's elbow smashed into my face. There's no shot he actually showed his fucking cock. What?
何
レナに汚ねえもん見せやがって。
この大関スケゴマシ重複して差し上げますでございます。
違う誤解だ。
Okay. So what the fuck is a furry seal? It was no good, they're gonna kill me?
みーちゃん、なんだかわかんないけど誤解だよ。ケイイチくんはオットセイさんのキーホルダーですよ。
Oh, please, there's no way it's that cute. Rika-chan stuck her hand into her pocket and pulled out my keychain.
昔夏休みの宿題で作ったと言ってますです。恥ずかしいのでめったに人に見せないとも言ってますですよ。ちっちゃくて可愛くて精一杯頑張ったって感じがとっても素敵だったよ。
なんだ、てっきりおじさんはケイちゃんの、あははは
さすがミオさんですわ。間違える方向もワイルドですこと。
Yeah, so did you, Satoko. They slunk insult at each other and looked like they were ready to tear into each other at any second. I beg of you, if I'm in the clear, would you mind getting off of me? We were interrupted. Oh, shit. You shouldn't have done that. They're gonna kill you now, motherfucker.
やあみんな。
Taking pictures of minors? Did you ask us for consent?
相変わらず元気そうだね。
Creep? It was Tomitake-san. Oh. As I lay crumpled on the ground, Mion and Satoko continued to bicker above me. Rika-chan was patting me on the head and Rena was still in cute mode. It was probably quite a lively scene.
こんばんはではございますが、レディーに断りもなくお写真を撮るのはエチケット違反でございますことよ。
True! Get him, Satoko!
そうだな。少なくともサトコの許可は必要ない。
What? Satoko dug her heel into me.
こんばんは。あ、明日帰られちゃ ですよね。素敵な写真はいっぱい撮れましたか？
おかげさまでね。いい絵がたくさん撮れたよ。
富竹のおじさまに会えるのも今晩限りなのね。お名残惜しいですわ。いい加減とっ
He's
と
about
と
to
メジャー
drop
デビュ
a
ーしてくださいよ
truth
ね。
nuke before he leaves.
相変わらず口が悪いな。その毒舌もまた半年聞けないかと思うと残念だよ。
Okay,
せい
Tomitake.
ぜい今夜を楽しんでらしてくださいな。明日の夜にはもう東京なんですからね。
そうだね。星が見える夜空なんてまた半年お預けだもんね。
Tomitake-san looked up at the night sky cheerfully. At that moment, even though he was smiling, I sensed a bit of sadness.
富竹さん、いっそ住めばいいじゃないですか。
Uh-oh.
ひなみ沢、
Tomitake-san was speechless.
確かに不便なとこです。
I don't think that's a good idea.
店もないし、
He doesn't want to be
娯楽
dismembered.
もないし、何もないかもしれないけど。
Everyone knew what I was trying to say. Tomitake-san was also well aware. So Rena, Mion, Satoke, and Rika-chan, none of them butted
俺は
in.
まだここに引っ越してきて一月も経たないからよくわからないけど。
Normally, I'm a really talkative guy, but in situations like this, I'm at a loss for words. Even though all this was happening in such a boisterous setting, it felt like all the background noise was fading into the distance.
ここにはきっと。
Tomitake-san rested his hand on me gently, silencing me.
ありがとな。ケイイチ君、ミオンちゃんにレナちゃん、サトコちゃんにリカちゃん。
Tomitake-san's smile was so slight, it looked as if he was going to crumble at any minute, but it was
僕
warm.
もここに住めたらきっと楽しいだろうなって思うよ。
Those might have been cruel words coming from a kid who didn't need to worry about working to feed himself. A hand touched my back. It was
ケ
Rena.
イチ君、大人をいじめちゃかわいそうだよ。
The background clamor of the festival returned.
またしばらくのお別れなんですからね。
Why won't we see
Giga-chan.
him for a while? Huh? You're gonna kill him?
今夜は富竹さんにもたくさん楽しんでもらわなくっちゃ。
I don't trust these fucking witches. When Rena smiled, the mood instantly got brighter.
そうだね。ぜひそうさせてもらうよ。
あ、ねえねえみーちゃん、どうだろう。富竹さんを部活に入部させてあげるのは。
Uh-oh. Want the W? That's a great idea, or so I thought, but Mion had a snobbish look on her face.
入部条件の一つにひなみ沢在住ってのがあるんだけどね。
そんなみーちゃん、今日くらい意地悪しなくても。
コツコツ毎年来てるからね。名誉市民と認定してあげよう。
やったー。さてさて、こんな旬を過ぎたご老体にこの私の相手が務まるんでございましょうかしら。老快な大人の知恵を見せてもらいましょうです。
へへ、俺たちの若さについてこられるかな。
Tomitake-san stepped back slightly at her audacious grins.
部長、園崎美音の名において名誉市民富竹氏の我が部への入部を許可する。
Her words were quickly drowned out by our cheers.
なんだいその部活ってのは。
我が部はだな、複雑化する社会に対応するため活動ごとに提案されるさまざまな条件か、時には準教、あるいは逆境からいかにして。
レナは弱いからいじめないでほしいな。仲良くやろうね。子供のごっこ遊びと侮るつもりなら好都合でございますわ。
身ぐるみ剥いで地獄の底に叩き落としてやるぜ。
つまりみんなでゲームして遊ぶ部活です。
Of course, Rika-chan was the only one to give an answer that made sense.
よーし、望むところだよ。その挑戦を受けて立とうじゃないか。お手柔らかに頼むよ、先輩方。
Tomitake-san got riled up and did a victory pose like he was 10 years younger. It's perfect. We continue walking through the festival with Mion in the front. Now we looked like a family of 6. It had some intensity to it.
ルールはいつも通り。ビリにはもちろんお約束の罰ゲーム。
Tomitake-san was a bit surprised, but to us it was just the same as always. Regardless of how terrible a penalty it was,
負けなきゃいいんだからね。
Brenna was also brimming with determination. She didn't have an intention of
そうだ
losing.
な。
I tousled Rena's hair to lighten the mood. She giggled to hide her embarrassment.
なるほど。これが同心ってやつなんだな。
Tomitake-san whispered that to nobody in particular. That moment, we heard an old man call out in a strong voice. Looking over, I realized it was the man Mion had greeted right before the festival.
来たかい。園崎の嬢ちゃん、今年は大人数みたいじゃねえの。
あんたの店、根こそぎかっさらいに来たよ。
We came to eradicate your entire stall. His stall was a shooting gallery. It was the usual setup where you had to knock down the prizes you wanted with a cork gun. Oh, I'm good at these.
ルールは
But
簡
they're
単。
always fucking rigged. I swear they put like fucking sticky double-sided tape on the fucking items.
3発撃って得られた景品のデカさで勝負しよう。
Everybody shouted their agreement. There was no need to consider how to win since the condition for victory was simply size. The biggest prize at the stall, it went without question. It was that one, wasn't it? That fucking F1 race car? Oh.
あのクマさん。
Yo, they're selling a gun! Rena was gazing longingly at a large stuffed animal. It was intentionally placed on an unsteady platform, so it was possible to get it if you hit the right spot.
と一瞬思わせる絶妙な配置が見事だな。
But it's bait.
さすがケイイチさん。一発でカンパすると思いましたわ。
ここは無難にキャラメルや人形を狙うのが定石のようだね。
The intent analysis had already begun. In this club, you'll get eaten alive if you don't come prepared. Everything hinges on what plan you can come up with before the main event. At some point, a large crowd had gathered around us, making a big fuss. There was this much of a following for our club's infamous event.
クマさんを落とせれば勝利は確定しますですね。
3発しかないんだぜ。それを確かめるために使うには重いな。
はいはい。他のお客さんも待ってるんだぜ。最初のチャレンジャーは誰からだい？
先に挑戦した方が楽な景品を狙えて有利かもしれないけど、鉄砲の癖が見えないうちの挑戦は危険だね。
Tomitake-san's take on these situations was pretty good. He gets what our club is about.
じゃあさ、公平にじゃんけんで決めるのはどうかな。どうかな。
結局それしかないかね。じゃんけん。
After a couple matches, it ended up with Mion being first.
1番は避けたかったんだけど、ま、ハンデってことにしとくかな。おっちゃん、10。
そらよ。
When the shooting range guy handed her a rifle, Mion looked it over intently. She didn't forget to check the cork bullet either.
オッケー。この銃はおろしたてだね。癖はなし。悪くない。
Mion raised the gun in one swift motion. It was completely different from her careful inspection. She was shooting from the hip. Fire! Reload! Fire! Reload! Fire. Flop. Flop, flop. 3 candy boxes fell one after the other. A big haul. The crowd paused in a moment of awe and then erupted in cheers. Okay.
やるでございますわ。
Tomitake-san was at a loss for words after seeing such shooting prowess.
すごいよみーちゃん。3つ3つ。
Her accuracy was incredible. Her choice of targets wasn't bad either. The 3 Mion had gone after were fairly large and pretty easy to knock over. They were all targets with very high return on investment.
2番手は誰？さとこ？気をつけて。弾が軽い。
Next was Satoko. The rifle looked a bit big for her lithe body, but it didn't seem like she had any problems with the weight.
やはりここは大物狙いで行かせてもらいますわ。
Idiot. Should never do that. Damn, Satoko, such a bold move.
クマさんを落とせばその時点でさとこちゃんのトップは確定するね。さとこちゃん頑張れ。
Satoko was the opposite of Mion. She aimed at the target quite carefully and squeezed the trigger.
弾が軽いですわ。
The first 2 bullets struck the bear in the torso, but it only shifted a bit. You need to aim higher towards the head or it won't work. Satoko's 3rd bullet wasn't aimed at the bear, but at the candy box below its arms.
残念でございますけれど、私にクマは2が勝ちすぎているみたいですわね。
Fucking noob! She went boldly after the big catch, but since she switched over to less impressive prey at the last second, the crowd only gave a strained laugh. Were they laughing because she lacked the courage? These fools know nothing.
さとこ、いい仕事をするじゃん。腕を上げたね。
The palm of Mion's outstretched hand went pump as it tapped down lightly on Satoko. She appeared to just be talking hot air, but this was actually completely calculated. Damn that Satoko, just to avoid being in last place, she dared to switch over to an easy target. Without shame or honor. Fence sitter.
クマはレナさんに譲るでございますわ。健闘をお祈りしましたよ。ありがとね、さとこちゃん。クマさんかいいよ。
Rena was up next. She couldn't hit the broadside of a barn as regular Rena, but she said that bear was cute.
レナちゃんはどうだろうね。一つくらい当たるといいんだけれど。
富武さんはちょっとレナを甘く見てますね。
It's Rena, you know. It's Rena Ryugu, you know. No, it's Reina. If it was to get that teddy bear. Oh shit. Did she get it in one shot? If it was to get that bear, she'd be able to shoot through a pinhole. The one known as Rena Ryugu could do it.
揺れてる揺れてるよ。かいよ。
Rena couldn't hide her excitement over the bear's slow rocking. Now Rena couldn't lose.
さすがレナさんですわ。冷静を失えば失うほどに。
強い。
Another big cheer. Rena's bullet hit the bear's forehead again. Not enough. The bear seemed to wobble more than before.
でも無理かもしれませんですね。
いやー、わからないよ。レナちゃんの腕だったらひょっとすると。
While Tomitake-san was just as excited as the crowd, Rika-chan's analysis was not swayed by emotion. If Rena had 10 more shots, then she could surely knock it over. But with just one more, no matter how you looked at it, no go. The crowd let out a dejected groan. She had shot it right in the forehead 3 times. It was a bit late, but they gave her a good round of applause for the attempt. Fucking noob!
クマさんお持ち帰り。
She should be praised for her valor, but she had no trophies to show for it. Then, at that moment, the old man flicked one of the candy boxes with his finger and handed... Oh my god. Fucking... This is what's wrong with the world. Pity points. Fucking participation awards. Now, Rena will never understand what it means to just not get something in life. Alright?
こいつはジョーちゃんのだぜ。
Fucking...
くれるの？
Listen, there are clear winners and losers in life, chat. If you fucking lose, you lose. You get nothing. Good day, okay?
レナに？
あんなすげえの見せられて手ぶらで返しちゃお天道様に申し訳が立たねえぜ。
There was another shower of applause. Rena turned bright red and pulled her back over to us by her hand.
頑張ったじゃないかよ。かわいいモードのレナにゃ驚かされるぜ。
はあ、惜しかったよ、クマさん。
It was easy to see that it only needed a little more to be knocked over. Rena had done quite a lot for me. I still needed to pay her back for that delicious
よ
picnic.
っしゃ、そんなら俺が。
僕が取ったらプレゼントするよ。
Oh, okay, Tomitake, trying to NTR Keiichi, you son of a bitch.
お願いね、富武さん。
Tomitake, she's 14, you creep. Damn you, old man Tomitake, stealing the good parts for yourself. A small hand stretched over and fell gently on my head just before I was overcome with frustration.
ケイイチもファイト王ですよ。
Tomitake-san carefully studied the bear. Setting his sights, he shouldered the rifle while holding the other two shots in his hand.
どういうことだ？
うん、間違いない。富武のおっさんの狙いは。
The time between shots was short. It was meaningless to shoot again once it stopped shaking, so Tomitake-san was relying on rapid fire. It was visibly wobbling much more than it had ever before, but that was all. It still didn't fall over. Nah, wait, what if Tomitake is actually giving the assist of the century? Ooh. He's setting it up so that Keiichi can fucking swoop in, get the bear, and win the, you know, win Rena. All of Rena's momentary expectations from watching it sway violently turned into dejected sigh. Yeah, he's a
結
wingman.
構いけると思ったんだけどな。
Shut the fuck up, Satoko.
男だとキャラメルはもらえないようでございますわね。
Oh, that's true. What the hell? This shopkeep? Hey, stallkeeper, where's Tomitake's fucking candy box, bro? It meant Tomitake-san had no spoils of war.
つまり、ケイちゃんとリカちゃんは手堅く楽なものを撃ち落とせばビリ回避ってわけだね。
And now they make the punishment for Tomitake-san death, and he dies.
ビリ回避か。あ、すみませんね。
今度はケイイチ君の番だよ。検討。
I was the fifth shooter. I took the rifle from Tomitake-san. If I took the ruthless route, as Mion had suggested, then I'd go for something insignificant. Except, when I picked up the rifle, I definitely got a feeling from it. It was burning passion, passed down to me by Tomitake-san. The regret of not being man enough to fell the bear that Rena wanted. Yes, that's right. If I didn't aim for the bear, then I wouldn't be a man.
約束しちまったからな。レナに。
約束ってなんだろう。
あのクマを撃ち落としてレナにプレゼントするって。
それって。
The crowd went wild when they saw our conversation. Okay. That's not it. Fine men of the crowd. If I didn't do this, then Rena might mug the old man running the stall on his way home. No, she's not. Why can't I just express my honest feelings?
ケイイチさんも男を見せますのね。
Like, I feel like Keiichi creates this fucking crazy hypothetical situations wherein Rena just like goes rogue and becomes a criminal just to justify his fucking stupid antics.
でも実際どうやってクマを落とす気ですの？レナや富武の弾で幾分傾きはしましたですが、難しいと思いますです。
If you fuck up Keiichi, you're just setting up Rika to win.
もっと素早い連射力があれば一撃ごとの揺れにパワーを上乗せできるのに。
頑張ってケイイチ君。
Taking 2 deep breaths, I shouted over to the guy.
鉄砲もう2丁貸してくれ。
2 more?
ケイイチさんは何を企んでいるのでしょう。
Oh, he's going for a fucking burst round, bro. He's going 3 and 1 immediately. Oh shit.
一人じゃ3丁は使えないですのよ。
読めたよ。ケイちゃんも考えたじゃん。
Mion was able to figure it out magnificently.
つまり一番時間がかかってるのがこのコルク玉の装填なんだよ。
そうだよね。じゃあ先に弾を詰めた鉄砲を3つ並べておけば。
Tomitake-san went silent, peering at me and the bear through his lens. His photographer's blood predicted a miracle will occur, and then the crowd finally picked up on what I was planning. They let out a great cheer. They chanted my name, Keiichi. Rapid fire is the key. If I miss, all is for naught. Phew! After letting out a deep breath, I paused. Relax. Now! A moment, it felt like time itself had stopped. I felt like I could see the trajectory of the bullets, hit it, and knock it down. The first shot hit the bear on its head. The second, the third. The bear swayed hard, and then... Oh! Oh! The cheers began before the stuffed animal even finished falling off the shelf. The guy caught it before it hit the ground and tossed it over to me.
まさか本当に落としやがるとはな。
Bro just lost money on that.
乾杯だぜ。
すごいや。おめでとうケイチ君。
ケイイチさんも頭を使えるようになりましたわね。少しは見直しましたですの。
俺一人で落としたわけじゃないぜ。みんなで当てて少しずつずらして落としたんだ。こいつは俺たち全員の戦果だぜ。
そうそう、全員の力の結晶だね。
ミーは一発も当ててませんです。
After holding up the teddy bear like it was a championship trophy, I handed it to Rena.
そうだ。こいつは俺から、いや、みんなからだな。いつもうまい弁当ありがとな。
Okay, now die, Tomitake! Die!
ダメだよケイイチ君。だってこれはみんなの。
じゃあ落としたのは俺だから、これは俺のだからレナにやる。
I pushed the stuffed animal towards her again. This time she embraced and accepted it.
俺が引っ越してきてからいろいろ面倒を見てくれたよな。すげえ感謝してるんだぜ。ありがとな。
ケイイチ君、ありがとう。
Rena dove at me. Mion told me a few days later that Rena kissed me, but I didn't realize it during all the excitement at the time. I remember what I was trying to say to Tomitake-san earlier. There really isn't much of anything here, but there are a lot of things you can't find anywhere else. I gained a lot from coming to Hinamizawa, especially at that moment. The crowd's cheers echoed on and on. From the altar set up in front of the shrine, the drums sounded with a booming echo. It's the finale of the festival.
じゃあ僕はお先に行くですよ。
おっと、僕も早く行っていいポジションを確保しないとな。じゃあみんな、後ほど。
Both Rika-chan and Tomitake-san gave their farewells and disappeared into the crowd.
二人ともお勤めしっかりでございますよ。ささ参りましょうでございます。
うん。リカちゃんの派手姿を見に行きますかね。行こう。
ああ、あれレナは何やってんだよ。
ケイチくん、みーちゃん、助けて。
She was carrying such a ridiculously large stuffed animal. She was being carried by the flow of people.
何やってんだあいつ。熊の世話で手一杯なんだな。
じゃあケイちゃんにはレナの世話を頼むかね。私はサトコの世話で忙しいし。
誰がミオンさんの世話になるでございますの？痛い、手引っ張らないでくださいまし。
Before losing sight of Mion, I grabbed the back of Rena's collar.
ケイチくん、そこ違う。掴むとこ違う。
注文のうるさいやつだな。どこならいいんだ？
I didn't feel ashamed at all. Rena was ashamed enough for the both of us. I grabbed onto Rena's hands and dashed after Mion and the others.
置いてかれる。早く行こうぜ。
I hadn't realized Rena's hand was so delicate. Maybe she needed a bit more exercise and nutrition. That wasn't what I meant. Not at all. My ears burned. I tried to keep calm. I repeated the phrase, "Keep it together, Keiichi, Maibara," in my mind. But it didn't look like I would be able to anytime soon. I really didn't want Rena to see my face right then, so I pushed onwards, dragging her along without looking back even once. There was already a huge group of people gathered at the altar in front of the shrine. The fire at the altar made it bright as midday and just as hot. There was a pile of futons warded with sanctified rope in front of the altar. Come to think of it, they did say it was a festival where they did something with the cottons and futons.
ケイチさん、レナさん、こちらでございますのよ。
Satoko waved her hand in the front from the front
すま
row.
んすまん。
Making our way through the mass of people, we reached the spot they've saved.
どう？ちょっとはレナとドキドキできた？
やっぱりてめえ、そういうつもりだったのか。
Instead of replying, Mion gave us a perverse
レナは
grin.
どうだった？ケイちゃんの手って意外に大きいとか思わなかった？
Rena turned bright red, puffs of steam shooting out of her. I heard something slice through the air, turned around to see Mion on the ground with a welt on her face.
ミオン、お前いつ食らったんだ？
ハウのハとウの間くらいだったかな。
レナ、照れ隠しに友達を殴るのは良くないぞ。
レナ、殴ってないよ。知らないもん。
Thump! The thunderous beat of the drum echoed, silencing the crowd.
お静かになさいませ。始まりですわ。
Oh shit. It was a solemn ritual. New music? Rika-chan entered dressed as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. The elders all looked at Rika-chan and clapped their hand in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was a flash from Tomitake-san's camera.
リカちゃんが持ってるでかいのはなんだ？
祭事用のクワだよ。 巫女さんしか触っちゃいけない神聖な農具なの。
Awkward shape for a piece of farm equipment, not uncommon for something used in rituals. After reciting a Shinto prayer, Rika-chan approached a pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hose skillfully, plowing it into the futons. Each and every little movement of this performance probably had to be done in a certain way. Without a doubt, this was a
今度は
ritual.
なんだ？布団叩きかな。
あれはね、人間に代わって冬の病魔を吸い取ってくれたお布団を清めてるの。
ケイちゃんのお布団叩きって表現もまあ外れじゃないかね。
Rika-chan's face was already dripping with sweat. That hoe was probably really heavy. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Satoko looked on, silently lending her support.
心配か？
リカは毎日お餅つきの杵で練習してましたですの。きっとやりきるでございますわ。
Satoko's hands were sweaty, and whenever Rika-chan started to sway a little, she held her breath.
ミオンとかは巫女役立候補しなかったのかよ。リカちゃんにあの重さは気の毒だよ。
そりゃ頼まれりゃやるけどね。まあ誰にでも務まるものでもないし。
そうだよな。ミコは清らかじゃないとダメだもんな。
Mion drove her elbow into my side. With the thud of the big drum, Rika-chan gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar. That triggered a round of generous applause. After the Shinto priest had raised up the cleansed futons like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. Following after the priest, we all marched on at a moderate pace. They descended the shrine's giant stairs in a
今
line.
度は何が始まるんだ？布団を川で洗濯か？
だから綿流しだってば。
Procession continued right up to the bank of the stream. A fire was stoked high, and it was bright as day here too. People started crowding around and clamoring.
はい、順番。並ぶよ、ケイチ君。
I wonder what was up. Maybe we get some holy wine? Microphone. Oh! Hold up. My microphone fell off. Give me a second. God damn it. I need a new mic stand. Fuck's sakes! A sign? And what if this is like a bad omen? Something bad's about to happen. Alright. Red and white bean buns?
食べ物じゃないよ。だから綿。
Ah, but of course, they didn't call it Watanagashi for nothing. I finally understood. The municipal committee members pulled out the cotton from inside the futons and balled it up like mochi, handing it out to people. Rena dove into the line and brought out some for me as well. We then proceeded to the bank of the
ケイ
stream.
チ君は初めてだから、レナのやり方を真似するんだよ。
She held the cotton in her right hand and waving her hand as if to purify it, she touched it to her forehead, chest, navel, and both
これを
thighs.
3回繰り返すの。心の中では、お社様ありがとうって唱えるんだよ。
Who the fuck is Oyashiro-sama?
お社様ってなんだよ。あの神社の神様の名前か？
ひなみ沢の守り神様なの。ご利益もあるけど、たたりもあるんだからね。ちゃんと敬わないとダメだよ。
Sounded like a pretty frightening god. But well, when in Rome. I was officially a resident of Hinamizawa now, after all. Doing as Rena showed me, I touched the cotton over myself 3 times. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama.
これでね、
Oyashiro-sama.
体についてた悪いのがこの綿に吸い取られたの。で、あとは沢の流れにそっと流してね。おしまい。
Together, Rena and I set our pieces of cotton afloat on the surface of the water. The flowers of the cotton blooming in the water had sucked out all the bad illnesses from Hinamizawa and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals I'd seen on TV. The best part, though, was feeling like this rite of passage had made me a true resident of Hinamizawa. Nothing happens? No way the chapter ends like this. At first I was a bit anxious.
ちょっとした不安だった。誰かを傷つけたいなんて考えもしなかった。それでも不安は孤独を生んで疑念へと変わり、やがて黒い殺意が心を闇に閉ざしていった。戻らない日常。少年は足を踏み出す。その先が奈落の底だとも気づかずに。鬼隠し。信じたいと思う気持ちが生んだ悲劇。流した涙は懺悔か、それとも怨恨か。
While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Rena. I wasn't very lonely though. I know this place now. This is where I live, my home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomitake-san's. I headed towards it.
どうですか、Tomitake-san? いい写真はいっぱい撮れましたか?
You're dying, Tomitake. I can tell.
ああ、おかげさまでね。
Tomitake-san was with a girl. I felt a little like it was intruding.
ケイイチ君はどうだったかしら？お祭りは楽しめた？
Who the fuck is this? From the way she spoke, it seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. P? Ah! God! Tomitake-san, what the fuck? Bro's got a gut.
その楽しかったです。
Her face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name, because she gave a light-hearted chuckle.
ケイイチ君はまだ引っ越してきて日が浅いんだそうだね。
Yo, she looks like the character from Yumineko, just like Rika does.
他の子たちととても親しげだったから、とてもそうは思えなかったよ。
That's how it looked. It was probably all thanks to Rena and Mion.
あなたも今日のお祭りに参加して自分がひなみ沢の人間になれたんだって自覚できたんじゃないかしら？
どうなんでしょうね。
おや、ケイイチ君らしくない返事だね。
I tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there were still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I met, for example. Things that happened in the past as well.
なんだ、その程度のことで君は疎遠に感じていたのかい？
疎遠なんて大げさなもんじゃないですよ。ただなんていうのか。
That incident at the dam construction site. The fighting over it and over the other conflicts. That terrible incident, they pretended that they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and the bad that had happened here.
それを知ることで君が納得するなら、僕の知っている範囲で何でも教えるよ。
Oh shit. Oh shit. This is how Tomitake dies. Tomitake-san's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. Start to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything." Even when there was so much I wanted to ask.
じゃあダム工事について聞かせてください。
Oh fuck.
ひなみ沢が水没するとかいう大事件だったんですよね。
ダムについては多分ここの人に聞いた方が詳しいと思うけどな。ま、僕が知っている範囲でいいんなら。 新聞で読んだ程度だけどね。
Tomitake-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memory. Then he spoke. Oh shit.
ダムの計画が決まったのは7、8年くらい前なんだ。黒部に次ぐ巨大な計画だったと聞いてるね。
There were three major issues in Japan at the time: improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting the higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electricity and flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out.
ダムの完成に伴って生まれるダム湖はかなりの面積になったらしいね。 この日波沢からずっと上流の矢郷地あたりまでが全部沈むことになったらしい。
しかし、なんだって人が住んでる日波沢にわざわざダムを作るんですか？もっと他の人が住んでないところに作ればいいのに。
よくは知らないんだが、ダムを作るのに適した地形ってのがあったって聞いてるね。
Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said that they had fought. From that choice of words, I had to guess things had turned violent.
裁判にもなったし、議会でも取り上げられたんだ。東京の新聞にも載ったよ。
Miona told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle.
で、いろいろな不祥事や汚職が発覚してね。ややこしいことになっているうちに工事中止が決まったんだそうだよ。
If I wanted to know, now was my only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little shame from the fact I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Rena and Mion's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance, just so I would stop thinking about it so much.
バラバラ殺人ってありましたよね。
あったよ。偶然その時期に日波沢にいてね。
Oh shit.
だからよく覚えてるよ。
Tomitake-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced out question.
ちょうど4年前の今頃だったかな。あれも確か綿流しの日だったね。
Oh fuck, it was the same day? Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident that was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hid one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but 1 was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic event, but it wasn't so terrible that Rena and Mion needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being so interested in it. Maybe Tomitake is the 5th one? Yo. Maybe. He says he was there.
お社様のたたりだって言ってずいぶん騒がれたんだよ。
お社様のたたりか。
Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held this festival today, if I recalled correctly. I see. The guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa.
若い人たちはそうは思わなかったみたいだけれど、お年寄りたちはお社様のたたりだと疑わなかったみたいね。
Yo, these people hella sus. Nah, these are like, I think new artworks. The old ones didn't have these. The woman with Tomitake-san chuckled mischievously. Tomitake-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious, I ended up laughing as well. What if Tomitake comes every year, and he is the last killer, and he secretly needs to come here all the time, pretending to photograph stuff to make sure nobody found the arm?
でも今ではどうかしらね。結構いるんじゃないかしら。若い人にも。
いるって何がですか？
信じてる人だよ。お社様のたたり。
The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned
その
stern.
後ね、毎年起こるんだよ。決まって今頃にね。
怒るって何が？
A murder? Paused for a second as if to build up some suspense, and he whispered to me as if someone might have been listening.
毎年綿流しの日になるとね、誰かが死ぬんだよ。バラバラ殺人の翌年の綿流しの日、ひなみ沢の住人でありながらダムの誘致派だった男が旅行先で崖下の濁流に転落して死亡した。奥さんに至っては死体も上がってない。
ひなみ沢の人間でありながらダムに賛成していた男ですからね。事故当時お年寄りたちはお社様のたたりだとささやき合ったものよ。
The woman chuckled mischievously.
さらに翌年、綿流しの晩、今度は神社の神主が原因不明の奇病で急死した。
Looks like Tomitake-san's dying this year, buddy boy.
奥さんはその晩のうちに沼に受水自殺した。
神社の神主って今日のこの神社の神主ですか？
The woman
村
nodded.
人たちはお社様のお怒りを鎮めきれなかったんだって噂したわね。
さらに翌年、これもまた綿流しの晩、今度は近所の主婦が撲殺体で発見された。
Housewife. Up until now, all of these mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam or who had connections with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way
その
too?
通りよ。
The woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacingly.
被害者の一家はね、その2年前に転落死したダム誘致派の男の弟一家に当たるのよ。
弟本人はまだ生きてるらしいね。でもやはりかなり気にしてね、近隣の町に引っ越してったらしいよ。
For a while, I stood there with my mouth agape. The battle over the dam construction with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses, but the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Watanagashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction? It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves, but when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. I don't believe in curses. But every single year on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen without fail. The woman chuckled again as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying maybe there was. Maybe we frightened him. Stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomitake-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone.
で、その翌年の綿流しの晩にも今度は誰です？
さーてね。
あ
The way he said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me
は
off.
ぐらかさないでくださいよ。俺は結構真剣に。
まあまあケイチ君落ち着いて。
I realized when she tried to calm me down that I had been panicking.
別にはぐらかしたつもりはないんだよ、ケイチ君。つまりその翌年の綿流しってのは、つまり
This year.
今日よ。
I knew it. Tomitake-san hesitated to say it, she finished for him. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed.
みんな口にしないけど、今夜また何か起こるんじゃないかって思ってる。
こんなにお祭りで賑わってるのに。
あのね、去年の被害者の主婦は不信心者だったらしくてね、綿流しのお祭りに参加しなかったらしいの。
今年の綿流しに参加しないとお社様の怒りに触れるかもしれないって噂、ケイチ君なら聞いてるんじゃないかい？
Never even heard a whisper of that rumor.
じゃあみんなのお祭りの参加はたたりを恐れて？
そうなんじゃないかと思うね。今年の綿流しは例年になく参加者が多いよ。
やっぱりみんな怖いんでしょうね、お社様のたたり。
Couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and misunderstood, where black and white television has been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon, even with all of our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society?
桜ってことで近隣の町の子供会をかなり招待したらしいけど、やっぱり一連の事件を受けてあんまり参加はなかったみたいね。
Yeah, what if they're rage baiting Keiichi?
人集めに苦労してるって町会の人がぼやいてたもの。
警察もね、過去の事件は全て別個のもので関連性はないとしてるみたいだけどね。警備ってことで私服警官をだいぶ立たせてたみたいだよ。
Finally it began to dawn on me why Rena and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watanagashi, everything would have been over with and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would end up being just crazy talk. Something's gonna happen. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we would have all gotten back to life as usual.
やっぱり刺激が強すぎたかしら。
The woman ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed.
いえ、そんな全然。
I had tried to act strong, but that just served to emphasize how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomitake-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor.
まさかケイチ君、たたりなんて信じてるわけじゃないだろう。
Clueless.
そりゃまあ。
全ての事件が原因不明で犯人も手口も謎っていうなら僕もたたりを疑ってもいいよ。だけど実際には違う。どの事件もちゃんと警察が捜査して真相や犯人を究明してる。
Hearing say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse.
例えば一番最初のバラバラ殺人言ったよね。犯人は一人を残して全員逮捕されてる。残った一人だって時間の動機だって酒の上での口論からと判明してる。たたりなんかじゃない。だろう？
That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Watanagashi, then I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all.
次の誘致派の夫婦の事故死だってそうさ。恨みを買う立場だったからね。警察が特に入念に捜査したと思うよ。それで発表は事故。他殺じゃない。
でもまた綿流しの日に起きたんですよね。
考えてもみなよ、ケイチ君。ひなみ沢に敵が多かった彼が地元のお祭りにおちおち参加できると思うかい？彼にとっては綿流しの時期は特にひなみ沢に居づらい時期に違いないよ。だからわざわざこの時期に旅行をし、意図的にひなみ沢を離れようとしたんじゃないかな。
It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomitake-san was getting at. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions so that I could convince
じゃあ
myself.
富武さん、その次に死んだ神主さんはどうです？原因不明の奇病だって。
Just ligma.
それもまたしても綿流しの日に。
神主さんはもっと説明がつきやすいよ。綿流しのお祭りは神主さんにとっては年に一度の大行事。過労に体調不良が
Okay,
重
bro,
な
he
った
did
んだ
not
ろう
just
ね。
die from stress.
あるいはもともと持病持ちだったのかもしれない。
On the exact day?
でも奇病ですよ。この医学の進歩した時代に原因不明なんて。
尾ひれだよ。噂が噂を呼んだだけさ。2年立て続けに事件が起これば誰だって過敏になるよ。急死は確かに不自然だったかもしれないけど、こういう死に方をすると必ず警察が検視をする。で、事件性は発見されなかったんだろう。本当に偶然の病死なんだよ。
確か神主の奥さんが自殺してますよね。
Yeah, what if the priest shook hands with JD Vance?
じゃあこれは？
すでに説明した通りさ。3年目の事件に村人たちは動揺していた。信心深い人たちはすぐにたたりだと決めてかかったのさ。もちろん神主の奥さんもね、自殺の際に死んでお社様の怒りをお鎮めするみたいな遺書が見つかったらしいし。
じゃあ次の主婦の事件は？またしても綿流しの日に。
この事件は犯人も逮捕されて解決してるよ。一種の異常者でひなみ沢のたたり騒ぎを面白がって再現したと自供してる。
Oh, wait.
じゃあ次の年の事件は？
Oh yeah, this year is the next year. Tomitake-san gave a hearty laugh.
もう何も起こらないよ。
Tomitake, you're dying, buddy.
今度こそね。お社様のたたりなんてもともとない。
Clueless.
一連の偶然をあると信じている人たちがそうだと
Oh,
吹
you
聴しているだけ
fool,
さ。
Tomitake, you're dying. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd become after losing control and
僕
panicking.
は圭一君がひなみ沢をとても好きだと思ってることよく知ってるよ。仮にお社様のたたりが実在したとしても、そんな圭一君にたたりがあるなんてとても思えないね。
I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Rena and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident, so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening and stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting
さ
on.
てと、そろそろ私は戻らないとね。
おっと、僕も少々長くおしゃべりしすぎたかな。
There were so few people compared to the crowd from before, I could only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. Oh, okay. Watch wearer, Keiichi? It seemed we'd talked for a better part of an hour.
圭一君もお友達と一緒に来たんでしょ？
Now, where the fuck is Rena, huh?
みんなを探したら？
そうだった。みんな俺のことを探してるかもしれない。
女の子に探させるなんてなかなかの罪人だね。
True. Keiichi, you pig.
じゃあね、おやすみなさい、圭一君。次郎さんもね、また後ほど。
Whoa, what? Tomitake-san seems to be quite the scoundrel himself. What? Tomitake, you just, okay. You got some game.
ケイチくん、ごめんなさい。
In her place, Rena came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil.
悪い悪いケイちゃん、すっかり話し込んじゃっててさ。
Completely forgotten about them while caught up in my own conversation, so we were even.
あら、富武さんもご一緒でございましたの。ちょうどよかったですわ。今日の射的の結果発表がありますです。
You know, if I see these fucking Rika and Satoko next to each other, it looks like Burn and Lambda. Unless that's like not the reference.
ああ、そうだったね。結局ビリは僕なのかな。
I'm assuming it is, right? In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots complete missed. She was ooh. However, she did her little meeping cry. Oh my god, and she got a free consolation prize. Her methods were a bit audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently. Well, we know who's dying. Tomitake, you're dead now. You're the loser.
結構タヌキだろ。
Ooh.
ケイチの言ってる意味がわかりませんです。
Prepare to die, bucko.
なわけで、ビリは富武さんに決まり。
Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomitake-san smiled wryly, slightly bewildered.
じゃあ富武さん、覚悟はいいかな？罰ゲーム。
Death.
え？あ、忘れてた。
Wait. Imagine if they just instantly turn on him, just fucking start beating his ass. You're too naive, Tomitake-san. This is why you gotta avoid losing in our club. Mion pulled a felt tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that.
武士の情けだ。せめて水星にしてやれ。優勢は辛い。
優勢じゃないとダメだよ。
Whoa. He's meeting, he's getting a little action later, Mion.
お洗濯したら落ちちゃうじゃない。
なんでお手柔らかに頼むよ。
All of us pinned his arms behind his back, and Mion approached him with the marker in one hand.
キュッだ。
But she didn't write on Tomitake's face, she wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You'd better have your big break this year, Mion. Rena took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Rena. It was a little heartwarming, and I just had to laugh.
これじゃあ罰ゲームってより寄せ書きじゃないか。
And they found Tomitake dead the next day with a knife in his chest with that written on his shirt.
私は甘くはありませんのよ。ちゃんと罰ゲームでいきますわ。
Haha, dead last, Satoko. Try harder next time, Rika.
ケイチさんもどうぞでございます。
I couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again. Tomitake-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face.
これを着たまま帰郷するのも罰ゲームのうちに入るのかな。
もちろん。ちゃんと着たまま家に帰ってね。
次に来る時にも着てきてくれるといいな。いいな。
He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn a bright red.
わかった。次に来る時もこれを着てくるよ。約束する。
Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possibly for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomitake-san standing near the festival grounds. It seemed Tomitake-san noticed her too and knew it was time to leave.
お連れ様がお待ちみたいじゃん。そろそろお時間かな。
そうみたいだね。
Tomitake-san headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomitake-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off. They had done the same thing many times before.
行っちゃったね。
じゃうちらも引き上げるかね。
Rika-chan had to stay behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Satoko was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talk of the day's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that, that kind of stuff. Rena and I parted ways with Mion, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got to my house and I parted ways with
こん
Rena
な
as
時間だけ
well.
ど一人で大丈夫か？
全然平気だよ。近いし、走っていくし。
変な奴がいたら大声出せよ。
出したら、助けに来てくれるのかな。かな。
聞こえたらな。
聞こえるくらい大きな声を出すね。
Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, Rena dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Yup, you just set her up to kill someone. Rena's cheerful presence disappeared and it finally became quiet again. The curse that not a soul mentioned, even under their breath. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. It didn't show on any of their faces. They were probably all quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up just being just crazy talk. Nothing will happen, nothing bad, nothing at
ど
all.
うしたのケイチ、そんなところで。中に入りなさい。風邪をひくわよ。
It was my
母
mom.
さんは行った？綿流しのお祭り。
結局お父さんが起きなかったからね。
Uh-oh!
行きそびれちゃったわ。
You're dead, Keiichi's mom!
残念。
Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. Aware. Monka W. Oh my god! Jesus Christ, that's a lot of tips. That was a long chapter. God damn. All right. Well, chat, tomorrow we pick up and we're probably going to check out some of the tips tomorrow as well because some of them seem interesting, like the radio logs. So I definitely want to check those out. Anyways, yes, sir. That's going to do it for us today. We got to wrap up. We got severely delayed today. We did. So yeah. Give me a second here. It's all your fault. Yeah. Tomorrow we won't get stun locked as much, okay? You have to admit, there was a lot of fucking news today, okay? So, like, it is what it is. Alright, finished your chapter? I did! That was the end of chapter 6. What do you mean? Ananta just dropped out of the way? No, it fucking didn't. Shut the fuck up. Ananta didn't drop shit. Alright. Good night, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out as always. Yes, sir. Big dick. I'll send you guys over to... How about I send you guys over to OK Chode? OK Chode. Tell him to stop playing League of Legends. He's not playing League of Legends right now, but I saw recently motherfucker is playing League again. Which is, anyways, I'll see